Thank you to Vandergraaf for sponsoring this Road to Prosperity video. Visit their website to learn about new innovative conveyor drive technology, delivering reliability and longevity for belt conveyors.
The construction materials industry is having a very good year. We've had a very good few years in a row here. Plants are running, people are busy, materials are going out the door, being put on the ground, but we have all these headwinds surrounding our businesses, inflation, supply chain. It almost seems like things are getting worse in some ways than they are getting better. So I wonder, where are we with the economy at this point? How concerned are you about inflation? What's the runway look like for our country?
Well, it depends on which aspect you're referring to. When you talk about supply chain issues, let me assure you, we bought a house in Naples in April of last year. And then my wife discovered shortly after we bought it that it wasn't perfect. And so we're actually redoing the entire house. I suspect some of you have had this experience. We have things as simple as ordering faucets can be a 20-week wait, or in this case, it's a 24-week wait for the specific thing she wants. So there's a continuing supply chain problem, particularly if you want a specific thing. At one period, in fact, there was a paint supply chain problem, and the color we want, Sherwin-Williams had to look at all of Florida to be able to accumulate the paint because they just literally didn't have any left. So I think the supply chain remains a problem. It's a couple of different problems. One is the aftermath of COVID, a number of factories that shut down, particularly in things like faucets and what have you, or knobs for doors. So COVID was part of the problem. A big part of the problem right now is China. Xi Jinping, the dictator of China, has been following a zero COVID strategy, which led him to shut down Shanghai, for example, for 2 months. Well, Shanghai is an enormous center of exports, and literally nothing was moving. So the degree to which China has had two effects. One, they've made the supply chain problem worse. And two, they've begun to get companies to look at other countries, whether it's Vietnam or Thailand or the Philippines. You're going to see a lot of that kind of sourcing move away from China because they're now seen as increasingly unreliable. The Russian-Ukrainian war, more accurately, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, has two huge effects. One is it directly hits wheat, which is a major food supply. Friends of mine who are expert on this expect millions of people to die in the third world because Egypt, for example, gets 85% of its wheat from Ukraine. So that whole thing is a real mess and a nightmare. In addition, Russia is a major exporter of fertilizer. So countries like Brazil, Western Australia, India, all have now scarcity of fertilizer, dramatically higher prices. So you should expect to see food pricing go up. In addition, as most of you know, the price of oil and gas gets translated directly into agriculture, both in terms of diesel fuel, but also in terms of the production of fertilizer and other petroleum products that farmers use in the modern world. I had a good friend who runs a pretty big, sophisticated farm in Indiana who told me that their farm's cost structure had gone up 80% in the last year. And that all is going to be fed into the system. In addition, as some of you know, there has been an avian flu, which has led to the killing of millions and millions of chickens and turkeys. That's going to lead to a shortage. So I think you should expect, certainly through this year and probably through 2023, continued shortages and continued higher prices.
Thank you to Vandergraaf for sponsoring this Road to Prosperity video. Visit their website to learn about new innovative conveyor drive technology, delivering reliability and longevity for belt conveyors.